It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is Esther Gulius. I'm the tax lady. I'm from EG Tax. And I can't seem to hear myself. Anyway, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we're here to talk taxes and money and anything that has to do with your finances, whether you're getting love letters, haven't filed a tax return, whatever you need to talk about. We have open line anytime. You can call in 803-0930. 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we have a special guest in studio again. This is what we try to do in the off season, to talk about things in depth, things that we normally don't get to talk about during tax season. So we have a special guest that's we're going to give you some really cool loopholes. And really, we have an expert in who is the only expert in this field all the way to New York City, across New York State. So I'm going to keep you on the edge of your toes. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I got Chris Fabian. How are you, Christopher?
Hello, Esther. That was a nice entrance for me. Thank you. I'm such an expert.
Oh, you're not the expert.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to introduce our expert. But you are a great expert in taxes. And Tiffany Fabian.
Hey there, Esther. What a beautiful day in Western New York.
It is. It was supposed to be like snowing and raining and whatever, but it turned out great. Okay, so without further ado, we have a special guest. His name is Russ Gullo. He's kind of a real estate guru, so to speak. I guess that's what you would say. But his specialty is exchanges and anything from a real estate perspective. If you're looking for an expert in real estate, Russ Gullo is your guy, because he can help you save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes legally, and we're going to talk about that today, specifically about exchanges. And for those of you that have been wanting to do a self-directed IRA, Russ is your guy. He can help you to get into investment real estate with your own IRA and keep it an IRA without taxability. So we have a great show in store for you. If you have any questions, and whether it has to do with real estate, bills you've gotten from the IRS, haven't filed your return, anything tax-related, financial-related, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And let me explain to you why this is so important about having an exchanger. Let's say, for instance, that you're somebody with a 4-unit building that you bought 15 years ago and you paid $250,000 for it. What happens when you own an asset like that, you have to depreciate it, write it off. So after 15 years of depreciation, you've written off $125,000. Let's say you want to sell it now for $300,000. Well, most people would say you paid $250,000, you sold it for $300,000, you have a $50,000 gain. Mm-hmm. Not really, because when you sell an asset that had been depreciated, you have to pick up the depreciation as well. So that would mean that somebody in the 25% bracket, 8% New York State, would pay on to sell that property $57,750. But that's why we have Russ here.
And then I wanted to say really quickly, I was doing a tax return on Thursday, and they sold a rental property, and they usually qualify for earned income credit, but because of the capital gains, it took them out of the earned income credit world, and they were so sad. It was a $5,000 refund that went down to a $700 refund because of the capital gains, because of the what you were speaking of.
Right, but here is the magic. All right, so Russ. Mr. Russ Gullo, and what can you do in this situation to help somebody not have to pay those taxes legally?
Esther, it's a great opportunity because through Section 1031, which is it's been available forever, ever since the origination of the Internal Revenue Code, it gives everyone the opportunity on any property other than one's primary residence to take advantage of paying no tax. And as you mentioned, that tax That only includes the capital gain, the recapture of depreciation, the state income tax, as well as Medicare surtax.
That's exactly right.
So in some cases, it could be as much as a third of your selling price here in New York State.
That's right.
That we can save individuals.
All right, so let's say that there's somebody's, and there's all kinds of doubles, triples, fourplexes, depreciable assets, businesses that own property. All these kind of assets would qualify for a 1031 exchange. And you know what? Most people say, oh, it just is so complicated, but it really isn't. I mean, it's not complicated from the seller or purchaser's point of view, is it?
No, it's actually no different than whether the transaction is treated as a sale or an exchange. All that you need is a buyer. And we take over as what's called qualified intermediaries at that point. We step in. Anyone can take advantage of this opportunity prior to legal title being conveyed. So most of our business will come into us anywhere from 24 to 48 hours prior to closing, and then we can work our magic at that point. We provide all the necessary 1031 exchange docs. There's a package of about 50, including the closing instructions that we make available for the closing agent. In most cases here in Western New York, it's an attorney. So whether someone has been involved in a 1031 or not in the past, we really take all the responsibility and get them to the finish line.
Okay, but they need to talk to you well in advance of 24 hours before closing, don't they?
We would hope that they would, but again,
but reality.
But again, we're with the technology today. We're able to turn deals around that are set up as sales and convert those to 1031 exchanges.
All right, so let's say that I'm here in Buffalo, and I just say, this is it. I really want to pack up and go to Florida. Too many long winters, too many cold springs. And I have 2 or 3 pieces of rental property that I've had here. And and I'm listening to the show. I've got them up for sale. I got buyers, but our closing is next month, right? And I think I'm going to go to Florida, and maybe I'm going to buy a small strip plaza down there or something. I'm the perfect candidate, right?
Absolutely. Esther, you can actually take those individual properties. We can kind of package those together, use the equity from all 2, 3, or 4 of those assets to buy one replacement property. And again, as you journey to Florida, you do have the ability to buy first. But again, we have to be in the transaction prior to set it up as what we call a reverse exchange, or another form of a reverse as a parking, which means that you can actually buy 6 months, 180 days before you come out of legal title of what we call the relinquished property.
Okay, so let's say somebody's listening and they said, gee whiz, I bought a piece of property here because I never knew about this, and I still have my properties here in Buffalo. Is it too late for them to contact you?
It is. If legal title's been conveyed and they're in actual or constructive receipt of the proceeds, again, it's too late.
That's
you can't
true.
unwind it at that point.
All right, so they have to actually, you're parking the property, not them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So parking basically means the title is conveyed to the exchanger for a period of time until the whole thing can.
You got it. Under those conditions. In a normal, what we call deferred exchange, it's the sale and then the purchase. So we do direct deeding, where the deed from the taxpayer, the seller, would go directly to the buyer, but the rights of the contract are assigned to us as the qualified intermediary.
Okay.
That puts us into the transaction. So
all right, and so but my seller, my purchaser, my seller, my taxpayer, he or she does not have to do anything special. They basically, Russ, help! I would like to not pay $60,000 in taxes.
Absolutely.
I'd like to not pay $100,000 in taxes, and that's where you come in, and you behind the scenes do all the
magic.
Yes, all the magic.
Exactly.
And it is magic.
Exactly.
It is magic.
And it's a matter of assigning the contract rights of that contract to us as the qualified intermediary. That allows us to step into the transaction. So the net proceeds then have to be payable to us as the qualified intermediary, so there's no actual or constructive receipt.
I'm Esther Goulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. If you got investment property, if you're thinking about going to Florida, not that we'd want to lose you, but if you are, I mean, we have a great expert here, Russ Gullo, who can help you to learn how to not pay thousands and thousands of dollars getting rid of your property up here in Western New York. And it doesn't necessarily have to be real estate. There's other assets that would qualify for this as well. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Phil and John and Larry, who's holding, and your phone calls on the other side.
Did you receive a letter from the IRS or New York State taking money out of your pension to pay debts, thinking of retiring, got married, had children? Who can you turn to make all the right decisions for taxes so that you don't end up in a financial mess come next tax season? EG Tax is here to guide you and be in your corner all year long. Call 632-7886 today. Again, 632-7886. And come join our family, 632-7886.
Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
Hi, this is Esther, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Bill Barber. Bill's 40-plus years experience has saved me money on my premiums and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Bill will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Bill Barber.
For all your insurance needs, call the Bill Barber Agency at 688-2199. Call 688-2199 today.
Nationwide is on your side.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. Do you have a will? You may say no because you've never had one written, but in that case, the state law determines who gets your property after you die. Wouldn't you rather decide that yourself? Then you should call my office about writing a will. We can also explain living wills, powers of attorney, and suggest other ways to preserve property or transfer it to loved ones. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For wills and estate planning, call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661.
Barbecue season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil will fill your propane tank for only $10. You can also ask about their new customer pricing for next year's heating season. Mention EG Tax and get your discount today. Call 731-9826 or 731-3015.
When faced with the uncertainty of an aging parent and what to do with their finances, you may have dozens of questions. Things like preparing for long-term care and the cost involved, or having the family home gifted to the children are among them. Jeffrey Katz, an elder care law attorney, will help you navigate all of the potential problems and solutions. Jeffrey Katz has been a longtime associate of EG Tax, and they are proud to recommend him to their listeners. Call Jeffrey Katz at 633-3363. That's 633-3363. Jeff will help you plan.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. How is your credit score? If you can't keep up with monthly payments, that can hurt your credit score. This might be a good time to talk to an attorney about getting a fresh start. I've been helping people with their debts for 40 years, and I never charge for an initial consultation regarding debt problems. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For a free consultation regarding debts, call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661.
19 for me. Hey, I'm the tax lady, and we're talking taxes. Actually, we're talking about how not to pay taxes. And if you're somebody that's an owner of some of the thousands and thousands of rental properties, investment properties in Western New York, we want to help you to put through an exit strategy so you don't have to pay taxes. And our special guest is Russ Gullo from R.J. Gullo Company Incorporated, who is the only qualified exchanger from here to New York City, and he is in our studio. He wants to help you. And I know we have a lot of people that have been calling and waiting. We're gonna deal with a non-exchange question from Phil in Kenmore. Hi, Phil. How can we help you?
Good afternoon, Esther. My wife and I are collecting Social Security, and I make approximately $200 more a month than she does. Now, what happens if I should just kick the bucket? And what will she get from Social Security?
All right.
My full amount, or will she get a reduction?
All right. So, whoever is she collecting half of your Social Security, or
No.
is she on her own?
She's collecting all of her Social Security.
All right. So her Social Security would just continue.
Oh, I see.
Because she's on her own.
And she won't get any she won't get a dollar worth of mine?
No, because she's on yours. Now, if she were on a spousal Social Security upon your death, she would start collecting yours. But that isn't the case. She's on her own.
Oh, I see. So I heard. I'm glad I called because I heard a different, complete situation.
So what Esther's asking is, she was a working person, right?
Right.
Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to understand, hers is more than yours, and so that's why she would keep collecting hers.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We have Russ Gullo in studio, the only qualified exchanger from here to New York City. Chris, did you want to say something?
Well, in the beginning of the show, we talk about it was rental property. But you were saying before the show, there's many other types of property that this could entail.
That's correct, Chris. The definition of like kind is so broad when we're dealing with real property. It takes on a whole different life when we're talking with personal property. We incorporate things like class, and we have to rely on the SIP manual, the old SIP manual, the SIC manual, to determine what fits into that classification. But with real property, under Section 1031, it basically states that trade, business, or investment property qualify. Now, there's current case law that even incorporates a secondary residence with limited personal use. So whether it's the relinquished, the sale, or the replacement, the purchase property. But if someone owned raw land, one of the benefits of raw land that you might own that you want to come out of, that's what we call an alligator. You're feeding it. It has a negative cash flow. You have the opportunity to come out of that asset and go into an income-producing asset. Okay, just to mention a couple of different.
In other words, land for
maybe a multifamily property.
Right.
You can come out of a property in Buffalo and acquire something in Tampa. You can come out of 4 relinquished properties and use the equity to buy 1 replacement.
Okay.
You can go active management to passive management. So the definition of like kind is really so broad when we're dealing with real property.
So that really gives somebody a lot of latitude.
Absolutely.
In planning.
Absolutely.
Like if somebody wants to move to Florida and take it easier, do 1 property, and they had multiples, they can just do 1.
You got it, Esther.
Right?
Absolutely. And the other thing that we haven't mentioned is if someone wanted to buy something in what's going on in Western New York right now, we have a great opportunity to acquire an asset that we improve. We can create the value. So not only do you get credit for the purchase, but also we can set up what's called an improvement exchange, where you get credit for the improvements that are being added within that exchange.
All right, wait. Now back up. What does that mean?
Okay. Let's say that we come out of a 4-unit multifamily property, and we want to take that equity and we want to buy maybe a 10-unit apartment building with the use of leverage, but it needs work.
Okay.
So not only do we get the credit to acquire the asset, but any improvements, we can use part of the funds to make the acquisition and part of the funds to make the improvements, where both of them would qualify by bringing.
As long as you're not taking cash out.
You got it, right. So what happens is there's an additional service, which is called an exchange accommodation title holder, which we can provide as the qualified intermediary to take title. So while those improvements are being added, we are in title. And then once the improvements are completed within that 180-day window, then we convey title back to the taxpayer and both qualify.
All right, so there's all kinds of things that can be done here. And if you're somebody that's interested, have a family member, a mom, a dad, maybe it's yourself. If you're interested in saving a lot of money and figuring out an exit strategy to get out of your present situation into something else using an exchanger, this is a great opportunity. I will tell you, you can save tens of thousands of dollars in taxes by using Russ Gullo and his expertise. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have John in Amherst. Hey, John, how can we help you? Mr. John. Hello.
I would like to sell my house to my son.
Okay.
For less than it's worth, and I owe $90,000 on it, and I think it's worth about $165,000.
Okay.
He can qualify for a $120,000 loan.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'll get 30, which I have a daughter, which I want to give her the 30.
Okay.
That she'll be whole, and I think I'm correct. The $30,000 won't be taxable to me. Is that correct?
Because this is your personal residence, correct, John?
Personal residence.
And you've lived in it the last 5 years.
Yes.
But it is not taxable. However, go on, Chris, jump in.
Well, there is no gain that you have to worry about because it's a loss. But what you're actually doing is you're gifting two assets. You're gifting the equity in the house to your son, so you have to do a gift tax return for that. The difference between what he buys it for and what it's worth. So if it's worth $160,000, he buys it for $120,000. There's a $40,000 gift. Then you're also gifting your daughter $30,000, so you have to do a gift tax for that also. You won't owe any money. It's just a lovely paperwork return that has to be done.
Right. So you're going to do two gift tax returns. It's going to adjust the unified basis upon your death. You don't have an asset. You don't have assets over $5 million, do you, John?
No.
Okay, so that means ultimately you won't owe any gift taxes. It's just unless you hit the lottery down the line or something like that. But you just have to do these two nuisance tax returns.
It's like
and
a
your plan will
bookkeeping
work.
form.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Thanks for waiting. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have Jim. Mr. Jim, how can we help you?
Hi, guys. Just a question. I have a rental property, and I'm thinking of selling it and buying a waterfront cottage, and, which also could be rented. So I just wondered if there's a strategy that I should think about for that.
That
would be a question for you, Russ.
That would definitely qualify as a 1031 exchange. The assets that you currently own are income producing, and it sounds like you want to buy another asset of like kind that's income producing.
Does it have to be income producing?
Not really. It could be investment held, meaning that you're holding it for future value in the eyes of the IRS, like you would raw land, and that would qualify under 1031 as well.
But he couldn't use it personally.
No.
For more than 10% of the time.
You got it. You
Right.
got it. But you do have the ability.
But that's kind of easy in Western New York because it's cold. It's cold for more than 10% of the time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If he's buying waterfront property, he'll be lucky if he uses it more than 10% of the time, right?
Exactly. But you do have the ability down the road to convert it to another use, maybe a secondary or primary
So that would
residence.
get you out then by you would basically do the exchange. You wouldn't have to pay the taxes, and it just adjusts the basis on your investment property at the lake.
Jim, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. So but I have to keep in mind that I can only use it 10% of the time.
Well, that's if you're going to have it not be rental. But if it becomes rental, then it really qualifies, right?
Right. If it's rental, you're still limited to the amount of personal use.
Yeah, which would be the 10%
Right.
of the time rented. Right. But if you want to talk to Russ personally, his phone number is 675-1500. 675-1500, and the call is really worthwhile for you, Jim.
Jim, how long have you had it as a rental, the property you're thinking of selling?
I've had it since 1994.
So it's fully depreciated. So how much would you sell it for, Jim?
About 100.
Okay. So, and your income right now is about how much?
Per month, it's about 1,200.
All right. So you're probably would be able to sell it for much of your income from Social Security?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So he probably would be able to get out pretty much with capital gains pretty inexpensively.
Right.
Just the state of New York is what you would owe the money on. So this would be a pretty inexpensive thing, even if you didn't do the exchange, Jim.
Great.
Okay.
Great to help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to take a short break for the news. We'll be back on the other side.
searching for answers after a man shot and killed young music star Christina Grimmie after her concert in Orlando, Florida.
There's no indication that he knew her. We're looking into that and trying to find a motive.
Orlando Police Chief John Mina. Grimmie signing autographs when she was killed. Grimmie's brother then tackled the suspect, who then shot and killed himself. Grimmie came to prominence as a contestant on The Voice. Donald Trump taking his own party to task, speaking today in Tampa, Florida.
The Republican Party really should get their act together. They have to come together. We got to win. And if for no other reason, the Supreme Court, remember that.
Violence erupts in the French city of Marseille as soccer fans clash with police ahead of a match between European powers. The Saturday night soccer match between England and Russia had been labeled high risk by French authorities. In London, the second day of celebrations on the official 90th birthday for Queen Elizabeth II. Dave Packer, ABC News.
One great station, one great dial position, no confusion. News Radio 930 AM, WBEN.
Now that April 18th is gone, you may be thinking that tax season is over. But at EG Tax, we think it is never over. And now it's money season. Our belief is to keep money in your pocket where it belongs. Call us today for reviewing, tax planning, or even still to prepare your return. Call 632-7886 today. Again, 632-7886. And come join our family, 632-7886.
In the nation, they go by Guardian, Lifesaver, and Friend. At Nationwide Insurance, we just call them agents. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation that cares.
Nationwide is on your side.
I have an insurance agent who cares. That's why Bill Barber has been my agent for 15 years. For any insurance needs, call Bill. 688-2199.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. Have you been injured? An accident can be a devastating experience, and afterwards an injury victim has questions. What are my rights? Can I be compensated for my injury? How does the no-fault law affect me? How do I deal with my insurance company or with the other party? It's important that you talk to a lawyer as soon as possible when an accident occurs. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
If you've been injured, call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661. When faced with the uncertainty of an aging parent and what to do with their finances, you may have dozens of questions. Things like preparing for long-term care and the cost involved, or having the family home gifted to the children are among them. Jeffrey Katz, an elder care law attorney, will help you navigate all of the potential problems and solutions. Jeffrey Katz has been a longtime associate of EG Tax, and they are proud to recommend him to their listeners. Call Jeffrey Katz at 633-3363. That's 633-3363. Jeff will help you plan.
Barbecue season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil will fill your propane tank for only $10. You can also ask about their new customer pricing for next year's heating season. Mention EG Tax and get your discount today. Call 731-9826 or 731-3015.
Hey, this is Southern Esther from EG Tax, and y'all give us a call, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on the cell phone. I'm doing that for Larry in Atlanta, who's been waiting. But Chris got a question.
I got a question for Russ before we take Larry. Now, going back to the previous caller, how long, what happens, so he has this rental property, he buys or exchanges for another rental property on the lake. How long does he have to maintain it as a rental property for the IRS not to come back after him saying this was fraud?
Okay. Chris, to answer your question, there's really nothing in the code or the regs that identifies the seasoning period. But we were told back in '91 when the regs came out that by the writers of the regs that we should put 12 months in between for the same purposes of qualifying for capital gains. But my point is, if someone wanted to come out of that replacement that they acquired and then do another 1031, you're going to carry your holding period like you do your basis, so we can take advantage of the tacking process. We would like to see 12 months in between. If someone wanted to convert to personal use, we'd like to see a minimum of 24 months.
Well, I'm just thinking so he exchanges, rents it out for 2 years. If he moves back in, and then he sells it 4 years later, with the capital gains rate, if the basis was 0 and he sells it for $200,000 or $400,000, if it's a personal property, he's married, he pays no tax.
All right, so the adjusted basis
would be
gets carried
0.
Would be 0, right? But
if you lived in it 2 out of the last 5 years,
but all the depreciation has to be picked up. The depreciation has to be picked up upon the sale, even on.
Well, I'm just trying to think how that works on
the depreciation have to be picked up.
Right, and the other thing is they require a 5-year hold.
Right.
Once you make it your primary now, when you convert from a 1031 to primary, before you can dispose and
Good
take
thinking,
advantage.
though, Chris. Good thinking. All right, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. We're going to talk to Larry in Atlanta. Hey, Larry, how y'all doing?
Esther, I'm doing great. I'm so good to hear my wonderful AG tax team.
What's new, Larry?
Well, I'm calling about a letter I received from the IRS. I sent Chris a copy. Chris, I'm working on take care of it right now, but one question for you all. It says, besides sending him a copy, first 2 pages of my return, which is no problem, it says, quote, I should send them, quote, any supporting documents verifying income and withholding and a copy of this letter. So basically, what kind of supporting documents or, verifying income and withholding? I send them everything, Chris, or what do you advise?
Well, first of all, I think Larry should send it to us, and we'll make the letter so that it can be sent in. Wouldn't you agree with that, Chris? Because we want to look at everything, Larry.
Right, I have the letter. It's
withholdings from 1099.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
So, Larry, any of your 1099s that have withholdings on it, I think the estimated payments that you did,
and that would
copy
be
of the check.
Right, and then send it over to Chris. He'll put together the letter for you, and then we can make sure that everything's copacetic. Okay.
Should he have copies of the checks for the
cancel
checks,
yeah.
Larry?
Yes, I've got copies. Yeah, I've got copies of them, and I do. Chris, sounds great, Chris. I'll just give you a call Monday if that's okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Bye-bye, guys.
Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye. That's my Southern Belle, Larry. All right, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, with our special guest, Russ Gullo, who is an expert at saving you tons of money. If you're somebody that's trying to get out of, in an inexpensive way, rental property, depreciable assets, he's the only qualified exchanger from Buffalo all the way to New York City, and we have him here. And so if you're somebody with rental properties, or you're thinking about getting into it. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is a lot of times people call me and say, I would love to do a self-directed IRA. That's another thing you guys specialize in, right?
Right. It's a concept that's been available for a long time, but this part of the country, people are limited to their education on the process. And especially today, Esther, we were talking about this earlier, with what's going on in the stock market, a lot of people would rather put their money into a tangible asset like real estate and be able to control the decision-making process. And you have that opportunity with the self-direct, where you can buy and sell real estate as long as you have an IRS-approved custodian to address that. We're not an IRS-approved custodian. The part of the process that we handle is the property, the real estate. What we do is we plug in a professional IRS-approved custodian, and there's just a couple of them in the country. And then
you do the management.
We do. We handle the real estate process.
So let's put this in easy speak, all right? So I'm somebody, I got $150,000 in an IRA, and I really would like to buy a piece of rental property.
Tangible, like you said.
Right.
I'd like to.
Right.
But I really don't want to go get a mortgage, and my $150,000 is doing 1%.
Right.
And if I pay $150 for this really nice rental property in Cheektowaga, I'm going to make $13,000, which is better than 1%.
1%.
That's
right?
cool.
And I can actually take my IRA and roll it over into a self-directed IRA with a custodian that you would plug in for me, and your firm would manage it for me, and that's absolutely cool. And as long as I don't take money out of it, the same rules would be go as if I was an investment or stock, or the same rules pertain, right?
That's correct.
And it would be cool, and it would give me another avenue.
And it allows you to make the decision-making process
That
of
is
when to
so
buy,
cool.
when to dispose, how to improve.
Right. So again, if you're somebody that's interested in going into a self-directed IRA, I know a lot of people are interested in that, but there isn't that expertise. Sometimes you're left going online dealing with some phantom cloud
and you
person
don't
out
know
there.
if they're legitimate, if
Right,
they really
it's
have
true.
your best interest in mind.
True.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Anita. Hi, Anita. How can we help you?
Oh, thanks for taking my call. I'm calling because this is a tad speculative, but this is my plan of what I would like to do is sell my home, and I want to know what the ramifications of that are, please. Like, will I be paying any capital gains? Let's say I sell my home, and I go to an apartment temporarily while I decide, do I want to buy another home? Do I want to buy a rental?
Now, this is...
I live in New York.
Is it a personal home? Is that your personal home?
Residential home. I live in my home.
So have you lived in there for the last 2 out of 5 years?
Yes.
And so the good news is, are you married or single?
Married.
And so unless you're going to make more than $500,000 on the sale, you don't have to worry about paying any capital gains.
Because you're married,
And
right?
Yep, she said she was
Yep.
married. So you're good. Are you going to make a lot of money on the sale?
And so, Anita, you don't have to reinvest. You can just, every 2 years, anybody listening that has a personal home, you can sell your home, take all the money out, up to $500,000 if you're filing a joint return, $250,000 if you're single, and you can go on a world vacation if you wanted to be not a good saver. I mean, you can do anything you want with the money. So every 2 years, you can buy and sell a house that's your personal residence, not pay taxes.
Oh, every 2 years you could buy and sell.
Right.
Okay. And then, oh, terrific. But then obviously I still have to pay like seller fees and...
Right. Well, that's the cost of acquiring and the cost of selling. That's not a tax. But Uncle Sam and the state of New York do not line up at your door if you're selling your personal residence that's been your own personal residence 2 out of the last 5 years.
All right. And thank you. And it's not considered any type of income at all.
No, it's just fun money.
Right.
Okay?
I would like to take a vacation.
There you
All
go.
right, Anita?
Hi.
Thanks for calling.
Good question.
All right, it is. And that's, the real estate, I think everybody still remembers the 2008, fiasco with real estate. That
Mortgage
never really
companies.
happened in Buffalo, did it? That
No,
big
not like
appreciation.
it did in other parts of the country.
Right. So how is the real estate market here now?
Very hot, Esther. It's being in the business in 35 years. And one of our companies, we have a multifamily realty company where we bring buyers and sellers together statewide, actually upstate, for individuals that want to buy or sell an apartment building. I've never seen the smallest inventory of multifamily assets as we have today in the past 35 years.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good news for Buffalo.
What's the appreciation rate been pretty much around here?
Well, it's very difficult to apply an appreciation rate on an income-producing asset. I know we see it in the residential market, but the way we measure value is by the net operating income and cap rates. We divide the two, and that will give us value. But from a rental point of view, we just did a seminar, and we brought some experts in that provided us with the research as far as where rents were going over the past 36 months in multifamily arena throughout Western New York. And typically, on an average, we're seeing anywhere from 2 to 3% increase of rental rates across the board in the Western New York marketplace, which is great. Because that's, in most parts of the country, we see the same rate, and we're experiencing that right here in Buffalo.
All right, so when you're saying that you guys have a group that puts together and packages deals, if somebody was interested in that, they would just give you a call at your office, right?
Yes, Esther. One of the biggest problems that we have in the 1031 arena from people pulling the trigger on doing the 1031 is, what am I going to go back into? I understand there's a time frame of 180 days. So I would have to say 90% of taxpayers that take advantage of a 1031 don't know what they're going to go back into, and they can jeopardize the whole concept because they have to identify the replacement property, and then they have to take title to that within what we call an exchange period, which is 180 days. So one of the things we've done is we've spent a lot of time analyzing the exit strategy. What can they go into? And for that reason, we have a couple of different entities. We have R.J. Gullo Multifamily Realty. So if individuals want to buy a multifamily property and be actively involved in management, we can accommodate them. If they want to be passive, we have a company called R.J. Gullo Net Realty. And we specialize in triple net deals like Walgreens and Dollar Generals, where there's absolutely no management involved and you would own that asset by yourself.
So if it's passive, though, none of the losses are allowable.
Well, right,
Because
they would be suspended. Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Want to talk to you if you have any questions. We have Russ J. Gullo here from R.J. Gullo and Associates. He is the premier exchanger, real estate guru from upstate New York. If you have a question, want to tap his brain, maybe you're looking at doing a self-directed IRA, this is a great time to call 8030930, star 930 on the cell phone. See you on the other side.
Did you receive a letter from the IRS or New York State taking money out of your pension to pay debts, thinking of retiring, got married, had children? Who can you turn to make all the right decisions for taxes so that you don't end up in a financial mess come next tax season? EG Tax is here to guide you and be in your corner all year long. Call 632-7886 today. Again, 632-7886. And come join our family, 632-7886.
In the nation, they go by Guardian, Lifesaver, and Friend. At Nationwide Insurance, we just call them agents. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation that cares.
Nationwide is on your side.
I have an insurance agent who cares. That's why Bill Barber has been my agent for 15 years. For any insurance needs, call Bill. 688-2199.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio, subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. Do you have a will? You may say no because you've never had one written, but in that case, the state law determines who gets your property after you die. Wouldn't you rather decide that yourself? Then you should call my office about writing a will. We can also explain living wills, powers of attorney, and suggest other ways to preserve property or transfer it to loved ones. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For wills and estate planning, call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661. When faced with the uncertainty of an aging parent and what to do with their finances, you may have dozens of questions. Things like preparing for long-term care and the cost involved, or having the family home gifted to the children are among them. Jeffrey Katz, an elder care law attorney, will help you navigate all of the potential problems and solutions. Jeffrey Katz has been a longtime associate of EG Tax, and they are proud to recommend him to their listeners. Call Jeffrey Katz at 633-3363. That's 633-3363. Jeff will help you plan.
Barbecue season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil will fill your propane tank for only $10. You can also ask about their new customer pricing for next year's heating season. Mention EG Tax and get your discount today. Call 731-9826 or 731-3015.
That's hilarious. I like that. I like it. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. Hey, we're trying to help you save money any way we can, and we don't limit our discussions to strictly taxes, but boy, today we got a good guest in studio. R.J. Gullo from R.J. Gullo Company Incorporated. He is the premier exchanger from Buffalo all the way down to New York State. New York City, rather, all across New York State. And if you are somebody that's interested in a self-directed IRA, you got property that you want to get out of, tax-free, this is the place to call. And in the event that you're too chicken to call and you want to call him during the week, his office is at 3865 Seneca Street in West Seneca, and he is a Buffalo boy. 675-1500. 675-1500 is Russ's phone number. Boy, we really appreciate you coming in, Russ. Okay, we're going to go to the phones and talk to Gene. Hey, Gene, how can we help you?
Oh, hi, Esther. I don't have a real estate question.
That's okay. What you got?
An amended tax return from 2014. I actually talked about this about a month ago with you.
Yep.
Here. I have a foster child who lived with us since May of 2014, and I did not have a Social Security number at the time when I filed my 2014 taxes. And then this past December in 2015, we started the adoption process, so I got an ATIN number for her, and so I filed an amended tax return for 2014, and I received a letter saying that it's too late to do so. The law changed. There's some kind of a American Protection Act against tax increase, and you can't go back in time and get a child tax credit for 2014.
Okay. Is this your qualified foster child, correct?
Yes.
And, all right. We didn't do the return.
No.
Okay. What we need you to do is come in, because I have never heard of anything like that. Chris.
Protection
I've never heard of anything
I mean,
like that.
they must be thinking about it's a foreign adoption or something. What I'd suggest, Gene, is just give us a call, 632-7886. Bring in the letters, bring in the tax return, and we'll go to bat for you.
Because that doesn't sound kosher.
We will go, and there's no charge.
Okay. I think on Wednesday to the easytax.com email address or whatever it was, but I haven't heard anything. But I can make an appointment.
Yeah, that's because without us, we literally have to look at the documents, look at what they're saying, see how you wrote it up, because sometimes the way you put something on a tax return, they would construe it in tax lingo to be something else. So let's take a look at it, and we'll help you, okay?
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Gene. Bye-bye. And let's see, we got... in Cheektowaga. I don't know your name. How are you? I'm Esther Gilius. How can I help you? Hi, Ed.
Ed. My name is Ed.
Hey, Ed. How can I help you?
From Cheektowaga.
We are legal Florida residents.
Okay.
And to fulfill our 6 months or more in Florida, we have to leave Buffalo by the end of October.
Okay.
But I've had health problems, and I might be stuck here for treatment or something.
Uh-huh.
Now, I was just wondering how closely they monitor this.
I really think most of it has to do with where you're more closely related. And where is your property? In Florida or in Buffalo?
Well, we have our original home is in Buffalo, in the Buffalo area, and we have a condo in Florida.
Which property is worth more?
I would say the one in Florida.
And then shouldn't he have his voters registration?
Where do you vote? Where's your cars registered?
Well, the car that we use to go to Florida is registered in Florida.
And you have a New York car as well, right?
Yeah, we have.
What driver's license do you have?
Florida.
Okay, do you have and you vote in Florida?
Yeah, we'll be voting in Florida.
And your doctors are in Florida?
Well, unfortunately, I got sick here, but we have a doctor there also. But
okay, well here, I'm certainly not going to pass judgment on what they would say, but if Florida, if New York were to challenge you, they would look at where you're more closely related. Now, obviously, if you unfortunately got sick in an area and you can't travel, if your intent is to be in Florida, if that's your intent, everything goes to intent. So I don't think you're going to have a problem. That doesn't mean that somebody isn't going to give you a hard time, but I can't see as long as your intent is to be in Florida, and by the way, you happen to have gotten sick while you're in Buffalo and you're getting treatment, I don't think that that's a major thing.
Yeah, we were here just a short time when I got a bad condition, and I may need further treatment, and then they found something else.
Yeah.
So I may need chemo or something. I don't know how long.
Now, let me just ask you this, because it really is important too. Do you have a pension?
No.
Do you have Social Security?
Yes.
Do you have any other source of income besides the Social Security?
Yes, I have a lot of investments.
All right, substantial investments?
Yes.
about if you're going to put a dollar amount on how much you get in dividends and interest.
Well, my state income tax for last year was $6,000.
$6,000 was your only income from investment?
Or was that your tax?
That was my state tax.
Oh, okay. Well, then, because New York State would have a vested interest in keeping you here. There's no doubt about it. So, obviously, you'd want to shuffle off to Florida as soon as you can, but there's nothing as important as your health. So, you can't buy health, right?
Yeah, exactly. But in other words, I might lose that $6,000.
Well, you didn't pay taxes last year because you were in Florida, right?
Well, no. This would have been our first year as full year as Florida. Right?
Yeah. Well, again, if it comes down to the fact that you have changed your residency because of your physical condition, then you'll just forfeit that. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Because of my physical condition, what?
If you obviously are unable to go back to Florida because
something
of your
transpired,
right? Well, then you can't say that you're a Florida resident.
Oh, I'm just stuck. Huh?
Yeah, but I mean, take care of yourself. That's the most important thing.
That's more important.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, the best laid plans of mice and men. You want to be a Florida resident if you get sick. What are you gonna do?
He's making headways. I mean, he's doing the right thing.
Right.
He's changed his license, his voters. Right. He's moving in a forward
direction. But it isn't. It really, they come down to intent. Where is your intent to be? If you're stuck someplace, it doesn't mean that you aren't a resident of the other place. It just comes down to intent, and that's a very intangible thing. Okay. Hey, Marie. I'm Esther Gullius. How can I help you?
Yes. A person passed away and left her IRAs all in CDs to her nieces and nephew.
Okay.
Each IRA is in their name as beneficiary. Mm-hmm. She has taken her required minimum distribution every year, but did not take it for 2016. What I'm asking is, will the beneficiaries, when taking the RMDs, use their age, or must they continue with her age that she was 89? They're all in CDs.
Well, I'm believing that you would go by their age, and it starts you go by their life expectancy age, so they're not going to have to take out a large sum of money every year, because hopefully they're much younger than 89.
Definitely, they're like 50s.
Yeah, so their distributions are going to be very minimal.
Based upon their life expectancy.
Yep.
And it would be in the beneficiary's age.
That's
right, they have to roll it over to a beneficial IRA.
Yes, that's what they intend to do.
Right.
But they want to make they do owe that RMD for 2016. Is that correct?
That's correct. But from now on, after they're rolled over, it's going to be based upon the life expectancy of the beneficiary.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marie. And let's see, we're going to go to Mark. Hey, Mark, how can we help you?
Hi, Esther. Hi, Russ.
Hi, Mark.
Just a question. I have a house in the city, and I know where I stand with that one. But I also have 6 acres and a ranch house out in Clarence. And I'm trying to figure out if I sold the house and I bought let's say a patio home, do I have to pay tax on the difference?
I don't understand. If you sell the house
in Clarence?
Yeah.
Is it a personal house?
Is it where you live, Mark?
I don't live there. There's no one there at the moment, but I've owned it for quite some time.
Is it rental property?
No, we don't rent it.
Vacant.
Is it what? What kind of just vacant?
Yeah, vacant.
It's a vacant house.
You don't farm on the land?
No.
Okay, so that would be something that he would want to do an exchange.
Yeah, he
right?
should qualify under investment
Yeah.
held on the land at that point.
Yeah, so what I'd suggest you do, because we're running out of time, is to call Russ on Monday, 675-1500, Mark, and then he can work his magic so that you won't have to pay the capital gains. Okay?
right.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. Thanks, Russ, for being our guest. We really appreciate it. If you guys need help, Russ Gullo, 675-1500. He'll help you out. We're EG Tax, and we'll help you out, too. Have a great week. Stay warm. Bye-bye.